Okay, this is OCR Level 2 in sport, and we're looking at learning objective 2, and we're looking at performance enhancing drugs in this video. So, performance enhancing drugs in sport. So what is a performance enhancing drug? There's quite a few. You've got steroids. So the purpose of steroids is to increase their muscle mass and strength. So it boosts the system, increases your muscle strength and the muscle build rapidly. Okay, all the drugs that we look at here are illegal substances. We've got growth hormone. So growth hormone increases the growth of the skeletal, of the skeleton and the muscles. So, for example, it's been issued out for medical reasons before, for players like Lionel Messi, who growth wasn't progressive enough. So, for medical reason, it has been issued out, but that's for development of certain areas. Whereas in here, they might take that to get their skeleton bigger and stronger, but they're taking it illegally. They're not being subscribed with it. Back to steroids. Remember, it's about increasing their muscle mass, so how big their muscle are, how strong their muscles are. Okay. Amphetamine or stimulants increases alertness. So things like reaction time, reaction to a gun or a ball being returned, or a penalty being taken. So amphetamines, what it does, it stimulates the body to react quicker, it gets the brain to react quicker to a certain thing, be it a gun, a ball, if they're on the starting blocks. Then we've got narcotic analgesics, and that's a pain relief, high level pain relief. The reason purpose that an athlete might take that is if they've got an ongoing pain, or they want to compete but they need to get through a pain barrier, and so they'll take these to carry on. But again, an illegal drug. So it's a big pain relief. Beta blockers, so that's sort of does the reverse to a stimulant. It will really calm the muscles and relaxes your body. Okay, so it really slow your heart rate down. It relaxes the muscles, so your heart rate will drop. So it'll be nice and calm. EPO basically increases new blood cells. So as blood cells die, your body will regenerate more. Okay, and this will just increase the new red blood cell count. Okay, so that's what EPO will do. And last one is a diuretic. Okay, which makes you get rid of water, any waste in your body, sort of flush your body all full of water, because your body's built up with a lot of water. Things you will need to know in the exam is sports performers that have been banned from taking these substances, and maybe athletes that might take these substances. For example, for steroids here, anyone who needs a lot of power in their sport, okay, 100-meter sprinter, will need a lot of strength to accelerate out the starting blocks and maintain over a short period of time. Okay, so they might need an example there. Growth hormone. Okay, pretty much most sports could use that, particularly renowned for like Tour de France or cyclists, long-distance cyclists, because the growth of the muscles and the skeleton gives them better leverage and to go for longer. Here, again, 100-meter sprinters, boxers, someone to be highly alert. Narcotics could be any particular sport. Again, it's related, more injury related. Beta blockers, here you're thinking someone needs to be very calm under pressure. Snooker players need to be nice and relaxed. Darts players, so need to be nice, relaxed and calm when doing their event. EPO could be usually endurance events. So again, things like the Tour de France, we want to increase a lot of red blood cells to help them sustain for longer. So EPO could be a really good one that they use for Tour de France. Again, it's illegal, but anything long distance, 10,000 meters maybe as well. And diuretic here trying to get to a certain weight could particularly be for a boxer trying to get to a lower weight, to a lower division, or nearer the fight might start taking these to get rid of any excess water, so it gets rid of weight. And also someone like a jockey who's a horse rider, to be as light as they can when they're on the horse. So they are the drugs. Again, they're performance enhancing drugs. They're not recreational drugs. Recreational drugs is more what they take for pain relief or medicinal. So you're talking marijuana, those type of drugs. These are performance enhancing drugs. So testing. WADA, the World Anti-Doping Agency, basically regulates and tests players and athletes throughout the year. They've got a rule called the any whereabouts rule. What the whereabouts rule is, any player has to tell you where they are, when they are, even in the off season, if they're moving house, because they need to have access to the players at all times, because they can test them at any point of the day, no matter where they are, and that's sort of helped trying to eliminate people taking drugs in sport, performance enhancing drugs. And then you've got the 4 methods of testing. So WADA will go around and test players in many different forms. So you've got blood testing, so taking a blood sample to the laboratory, testing to see what if there's any drugs, performance enhancing drugs in the body, in the system. Hair sample might want, so hair clippings are often taken. Most common one you might see on TV or know about is a urine sample, because it'd be in the bloodstream, you excrete it, and nail samples as well. So that's the 4 ways that they'll test. And I think they'll use particular tests if they're testing for either EPO or narcotics. This company here will know what will test best. It might be that they use 2 or 3 different ones to test for different areas. So that's testing for the drugs. Why do athletes do it? Okay, why do they take performance enhancing drugs? Most of the time it's to gain an unfair advantage or an advantage over someone, to win, get financial rewards. Some of them might not take it before an event. Actually, they might just do it to massively improve their training way before the event, to maybe increase your red blood cells and then stop taking it before the event so you don't get caught. So they can train for harder and faster for longer. Pressures to themselves to succeed as an individual, so they want to do their best. Pressures to succeed from the nation, okay, or from a particular person. For example, the Russians, the government got all their athletes to take drugs to try and win the Olympics, okay, and obviously they got found out and they all got banned from the Olympics, so that's a drawback. Pressure from coaches, because it's their job's on the line as well, same as a football manager. If he doesn't get results, he'll get sacked, same as for someone maybe who's coaching. And a financial reward, so the pressure to win for a financial gain. So they are the reasons why they might take the drugs. So that's linked to how they're banned, and the negative effects is obviously it's an unfair advantage is the main area, but also it can give damage to long-term illness by the impact on the body by taking these drugs, even once off, can have a lasting impact on the body. But then what it does it builds a mistrust of results. So if someone does return to a sport, then everyone thinks even if they win or come second or third, they're going to deem them as a cheat anyway. So it gives a mistrust of that sport or that individual. So it puts them in a negative reputation. That's quite a good word to use. So a bad reputation for that performer or for the sport. It's against the ethos of fair play, and that's one of the values we looked at about playing fairly. It creates negative role models within that, and it's I'll win at all costs. I don't matter how I do it. I want to win. So it'll bring a negative role model, and obviously sanction, bans, fines, heavy fines, loss of earnings, Lance Armstrong got stripped of all his medals, had to pay back a lot of money, and it's obviously breaking the law because they are illegal drugs at the end of the day, because they're not being given to you for a purpose. You're solely doing it to perform, to enhance your performance. So you will need to know 4 or 5 examples, because they might say, can you give me an example of someone who's taking anabolic steroids? Can you give me an example of someone who's taking amphetamines or EPO? I'd say the best ones to use is Lance Armstrong here. Let's get rid of that actually. Okay, Lance Armstrong here. Really good one. Took most drugs in the interview. If you watch it, he basically takes a lot of different drugs at various points. Dwayne Chambers, a sprinter for athletics. Rio Ferdinand, this is an interesting one here, missing a test as well. So if the WADA go in to do a test and you're not there, or they schedule a test and say we're coming in to see you for a test, and you've missed your test, they'll deem it that you have been on a banned substance and that's why you've missed your test. So that's a good one to have as well. The impact on the sport. So we mentioned about the reputation of the sport gets tarnished, mistrust of results. The sport then people then don't trust people that are doing that sport, so it gives them a negative reputation. When they return, I mentioned, so when someone returns to the sport after being banned, they mistrust, are they still taking the drugs? And pretty much most sports now are trying to put this World Anti-Doping Agency policy within their sport.